you very much. Cell phones, pagers, and the like. Do we have any citizens concerned? Hearing none. Item 2, I will motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion by DeWitt, second by Reddick to approve today's agenda. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say nay. Passes 4-0. Items 3 through 8 constitute the consent agenda of routine action items to be considered by one motion. Items pass unanimously unless a separate vote is requested by a board member. Item 3, approval of the minutes of the October 2, 2018 meeting. 4, approval of claims. 5, county auditors receive auditor's quarterly report. 6, approval of reappointment of Loyanne Jensen to the Woodbury County Library Board. 7 is board administration. A, approval of lifting tax suspension for initials JD. Item B, approval of lifting tax suspension for petitioners who fail to recertify their income or income does not qualify for continued tax suspension. Item 8 is human resources. A, approval of memorandum of personnel transaction. B, approval of request to deauthorize county positions. And C, authorize to initiate hiring process. So we'll move approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by DeWitt, second by Raddick. Any questions on the consent agenda? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Passes 4-0. Item 9. Mr. Smith. Approval of Dorothy Pico Nature Center HVAC and roof improvement project.
Kenny Schmidt's Building Services. Item before you is to approve plan specifications and design for the competitive bid process for the Dorothy Pico HVAC and roof improvement project. Dan Heisel could not be with us this evening. He would like to have, but had some prior training, police training that had been scheduled at the same time. That was unavoidable. So, as part of the plans and specifications at Dorothy Pico, I don't have an actual savings amount or percentage of savings as far as utilities would go. But there would be substantial savings over the current system. We do know that the roof improvements, we'd be changing the R value from the roof from a R value of 8 or 10 to an R38, which is quite substantial, considering that that's where a good deal of your heat load is lost. So both of our departments, Conservation and Building Services, would like approval to seek competitive bids and an approval to set a public hearing date for the project.
Any questions for Kenny or?
What did we budgeted for it?
We budgeted for the $722,436. That was our estimated cost, I have not received an updated project cost, and so that was the initial cost, and I stuck with it as far as the financial impact goes. Terry, I don't know if Terry Glade, CMB Architects, is here. Terry, if you'd like to stand up, and I don't know if you can provide the board with any cost projections other than what our initial cost was of the $722,436.
Yeah, I was just looking at the numbers before I came over, and I don't think I would update those. Looking at what we thought the roofing part would cost and what the HVAC part would cost, I think that's still an accurate number.
Terry, was RCE able to provide any financial numbers on savings, heating, cooling, utility load savings?
I don't remember seeing any projected savings from these renovations.
But we do know that and I just told the board, our values on the roof would change from an 8 or a 10 to a 38, so
Correct.
there's going to be pretty substantial savings there.
Right.
Have we gone through a process as far as our utilities with Mid-American and rebate potentials and all that?
We have not.
Is that something that we can ensure happens before this project starts?
It is.
Okay.
I'm not sure there's going to be much available. We'll look into it.
The rebates have been less and less as the energy codes have gotten higher. You know, the rebates are getting lower.
I know they've slashed that program, but I also don't want to leave any money on the table. And once we start it, it's not going to be available because they're going to say you would have done so anyway.
Right, absolutely. I'll check into that.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything?
Just a tangential question, maybe. Would we be able to get the same rebates we did for the LED project? I know it's not related to this item, but that's not available.
Absolutely not.
Timing is everything with these things.
It is. Mid-American has restructured their whole energy rebate savings program, and the best way to put it is they've slashed it and trashed it. And they're doing so in annual steps, and I think it's in like a couple of years, it'll be almost minimal and nothing gone.
Good to know.
Anybody else?
I'd move to approve plans, specs, and form a contract and seek competitive bids for the Dorothy Pico HVAC systems and roof improvement project.
Second.
Motion by Taylor, second by Mr. Ung. Any further questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Passes 4-0.
And I also need a motion to set a public hearing date of October 23rd at 4:45 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Taylor, second by Ung to set a public hearing for October 23rd. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Passes 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 10, secondary roads, approval of pre-construction agreement with Iowa DOT for I-29 overpass bridge raising projects. Some more stuff to add.
I have for the board's consideration today two pre-construction agreements, or two copies of the same one. This is for the grading and raising of the two overpasses, the 290th Street, Carroll Avenue, and 310th Street overpasses over I-29. The DOT has these in their fiscal year 2021 program, which means they would be built sometime after July 1st of 2020. I recommend approval of the agreements.
I'll move it.
Second.
Motion by Radig, second by Ung to approve pre-construction agreement. Any other questions for Mr. Nero?
We also require the signature of the auditor as well as the chair.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Passes 4-0.
I did get notification texted to of the hydroplaning.
Oh, did you? Okay.
It came in while I was driving, so I guess I missed it. That's all I had for this week.
All right. Thanks, Mark. Mr. Woodman,
Thank you.
County Attorney, approval of corrective quitclaim deed Woodbury Central Community School District for real estate in Sunrise View Edition, Mobile.
Yeah, thank you. This is involving a real estate transaction that the county was a part of back in 2003. At that time, the county and the Fair Association had sold a piece of property to Woodbury Central School District. I believe at the time it was anticipated that the parcel would be used for a new bus barn. I don't think that ever came to fruition. But now, as a part of some improvements that are going on related to a new subdivision out there, the city of Mobile is putting in a sidewalk And as part of that, there's attorney's title opinion that is going on. And the attorney doing that title opinion has raised a question related to some verbiage on the deed back in 2003. The deed was drafted by the attorney for the Fair Association at that time. The attorney that's doing the title opinion at this time is requesting quitclaim deeds from both the Fair Association and the county, and would resolve any potential title issues. The Fair Association has done that, and if the board approves this resolution, then it would authorize the chairman to sign the quitclaim deed and remove any potential title issue for the school district.
Any questions for Mr. Woodman?
Would you describe this as non-controversial and all parties seeing this as a copacetic agreement?
Right, yeah, there was, it's basically ensuring that the intent of the real estate transaction from back in 2003 is carried out. I think the issue was more so with, there was not a signature line on the deed from the Fair Association. So it could be argued that the county has already given the deed, but this just satisfies the attorney doing the legal opinion. And like I said, it's something that was approved back in 2003. There's a public hearing, publication, all of those things. So it's really kind of a ministerial type of thing.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Motion by Raddick, second by Taylor to approve the signage of the quitclaim deed. Any further questions, concerns? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Passes 4-0. Is that all there was on that?
Yes.
All right. Reports on committee meetings, item 12. Sir.
Just calling a historical committee meeting based on Supervisor Ung's agenda item regarding authorization of the certified county for historical purposes, as well as, I believe, around $11,000, Dennis, that we could transfer over to the from the Centennial Fund leftovers, for lack of a better term. So look for that in the next couple of weeks, and shoring up anything as far as long-term building plans and projects that are potentially on the horizon. That's all I have.
Okay. Mr. Reddick? Do we have any citizen concerns? Item 13. Hearing none, any board concerns? Sir.
I'm not part of the board, but
What?
I'm not a board member, but I just did want to clarify some things. We had some questions this week. Early voting has started in the courthouse, and while early voting is going on in the courthouse is considered a polling place. And so folks can come in with with T-shirts or buttons or that sort of thing, as long as they can come in and they just go about their business as far as voting or taking care of any other business within the courthouse. There's no problem with that. Candidates that are on the ballot can come in as long as they're just taking care of normal business that you're doing, just like you're doing right here today, those sorts of things. There were a few questions that were asked about that. Just wanted to clarify that. And if you have, does anybody have any questions on that? Or, the other thing is that while it is considered a polling place outside the 300 feet of the door out here, folks can, you can have a bumper sticker on, but you can't pull up a vehicle with a billboard on it or anything like that, that sort of thing. Or walk up and down the street with signs, and we've had that sort of thing in the past. But I was just reviewing those, and we had some questions this week, so just wanted to clarify that.
Anybody else?
Have you got all the volunteers or poll workers that you need?
Yeah, did want to, I had that question too about they are precinct election officials, and we have, I think, we're pretty much covered now. We were kind of struggling at first, but they are paid, and while they're working here in the courthouse or at satellite sites, we consider them part of the staff, so they actually are paid through a temp agency, but they are paid what beginning clerks are in the office. We established that years ago when we had kind of an issue with collective bargaining unit. So just wanted to clue you in on that too.
I was looking at social media yesterday, and I saw an interesting post, and my first name was mentioned that, first of all, has anybody gone to Chicago, Illinois lately to check how they do their secondary roads, their gravel roads? Anybody from the board?
To Chicago?
Yeah.
I have not.
So that's a definitive no from you two. And I know I have not. Mr. Reddick? I don't travel. Okay. So I called Mr. Nara to ask if anybody from his department had gone to Chicago to see, because there were some snide-ish comments about how our secondary roads are taken care of and how Illinois takes care of their gravel roads, and I just thought it was interesting, and I almost responded, but I decided against it. But for the record, for the public record, there's no county officials, to my knowledge, have gone to Chicago or Illinois to check on how their gravel roads are maintained. So apparently it was, dare I say, fake news.
Was one of us mentioned as having gone to Chicago?
No, it was not that, but my name came up, and I just happened to notice it, so I just thought it was curious, so I thought I'd make sure, because I don't want everything out there in the open and transparent, so.
I am willing to volunteer to go to Chicago to check their gravel roads.
To see their gravel roads?
Whatever the weekend is that Chicago and Green Bay play, that is the preferred time frame.
It might be too late, Mr. Raddick. It says that somebody was already there, and so I just, like I said, I want to make sure. So I know Mr. Gill is on bicycle trips. You didn't bicycle over there, did you? No?
No. But if Mr. Raddick's going to Chicago, you should go to gravel roads the entire.
Oh, yeah.
So, always interesting. We are adjourned.